Hello, Jamila A.
Hello.
Green.
Agree.
Jamila A. Green. And the A stands for.
It's Almeida. It's my middle name,
All
and
right.
yes,
Do you
I
use
just
it? You use it regularly, your middle
I
name?
I like using it just because it just like pays homage to my mom's side of
Absolutely.
family because
Yes.
my middle name I'm named after a family member on my mom's side of the family. Where of course my last name is my dad's. So it's like I don't know. I just feel like that's a way
It's
to
like a,
marry the
yeah,
2 and acknowledge both halves of me.
yeah. Give
So I
both
always
sides
do
some.
that. Exactly. They deserve
Yes,
it.
yes, yes. So I'm going to begin by saying this is my first recording that I'm getting to do with someone who is actually a former student of mine. And I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
And so I have invited Jamila here today for a conversation because she has recently become a children's book author. And we're going to get into that later.
Mhm.
And so for now, I'm just going to start with Jamila. Give us a little bit of your background.
I'm from Charlotte. I'm from
Uh-huh.
West Charlotte, a proud West Charlotte native,
Uh-huh.
and grateful to be from that area and come from a rich community of just creatives and thinkers and just entrepreneurs, even
Mm-hmm.
as close as like my family members as well, as it relates to that kind of rich history with West Charlotte. Anybody that knows
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte, they know that history. Um, but from Charlotte, grew up in a very creative household, very much so. If you can think about it and you start to craft up a plan for it, it's definitely obtainable, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I've always been grateful for that background that's kind of allowed me to really do what my heart desired,
Mm-hmm.
um, and really just think. But also my family was very much so like, okay, this is what you want, let's put a plan in action and I'm gonna hold you accountable. um
Okay.
so
That's
I've been
good,
grateful
right?
for that. So that's a little bit about myself. Of course, I went to Winston-Salem State University for undergrad, the best HBCU in the land. I don't care
Oh.
what anybody says. I know you would probably think otherwise, but you know,
Well,
it for me.
look, I always tell people we have love for all the HBCUs. The rivalry is all just for fun,
It's for
right?
fun.
It's all
Yeah.
just for fun. But
Mainly
I
my
guess you're referring to that I'm a Bison College
absolutely,
student. Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
But now I guess I'm kind of like a Bison and a Ram. You
I
know?
think so. I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
If you
think
will allow that. You know.
I
So.
it it's up to you. I am not holding that, but I
Yes.
think you can be both.
Yes, thank you so much. And you reminded me that you left us, graduated in
Mhm.
2013.
2013, yep.
And my, how time flies.
Mhm. It
And you left and you went to, I think you went to was
yep.
it Massachusetts?
I went to
Okay.
UMass,
Uh,
yep.
all right. Okay, very good. And you enjoyed the cold weather up there, or you did not?
I enjoyed nothing as it relates to the cold weather at all. It was beautiful to
Okay.
look at, but I like when it
Okay.
went away.
Okay. All right. Well, Jamila, it's so great to see you again.
Absolutely.
And we're really going to get to talking about the book,
Mhm.
the children's book.
Mhm.
Give that drummer some. Go
Yes.
on and hold it up for us so we can see it. Look at that. Look at that beautiful illustration. The
Yeah.
illustration, everything, it just pops out at you. And so you want to give a shout out to your illustrator?
Yes, Travis Thompson, who is actually a Ram as well. So he is a
Wonderful.
Winston-Salem State graduate, and he was
Uh-huh.
involved at the school there. So it just makes sense. It's definitely a Ram collaboration through
Okay.
and through. Yes,
That's great. That's great.
yes.
I like that. All right. And so we're going to get into now. Forgot to let me backtrack a little bit.
Hmm.
So one thing that just has happened organically
Mm,
in these conversations. You're number five that I've had.
okay.
Uh, is who you all were as children has been organically coming up. Like I didn't even plan that, and but typically folks have been getting into that. So then I started just like asking them to go ahead and share
Absolutely.
um, purposefully. So, who was little Jamila?
Oh
What
gosh.
was little Jamila like?
That is a good you asking some good questions. He was very energetic,
Hmm.
very curious and inquisitive. She was shy at times, but she was always the one who wanted to perform. She wanted to sing, she
Oh,
wanted to
okay.
dance, she wanted to, perform for family members, dance, sing, all the things I just said.
Yeah.
He
Did
wanted to
you do
draw.
any of that when you were at WSSU? I'm not
So
aware.
when I was at Winston, my first year, they did a production of The Wiz. Like no one really showed up,
Oh,
but I was in The Wiz.
oh,
Um, yes, I played Ada Pearl in The Wiz for at
okay.
Winston, that was in 2009. So
Uh-huh.
good grief.
Yeah.
But in high school, I did theater. And so I was like, okay, if I come to Winston, maybe they'll have some opportunities there. And of course, our
Hmm.
theater department wasn't huge, but there was something there. And so I auditioned and I was at a Pearl in the Wiz at Winston.
Look at
Little
you.
known fact.
All right. A little bit of trivia.
Just a little
All
bit.
right. So hold the book up again.
Yes.
Look how I'm prompting you. See? All right. Now, give that drummer some. So I have read the book.
Hmm.
I love it.
Thank you.
As I said, I'm very proud of you. From the beginning of Give That Drummer Some, you refer to the protagonist as a curious soul.
Hmm.
And I love that you chose that reference. It's a good way to start it off. And so I would like for you to share how would you explain the meaning of curious soul to little black kids reading your book or listening to someone read it to them?
Mm, that is a very good question. Um, when you hear the phrase "a curious soul," I think when explaining to a child about it, sometimes you have to reference it kind of in some terms that they may understand,
Hmm.
more. Um,
Hmm.
Almost like, saying, well, how you're super interested in going outside and, exploring the stars in the sky.
Hmm.
And every day you're always asking me, or maybe they're asking a parent or a guardian or a loved one, like, what star is that? Is that a constellation? Or how are these stars connected? Where is the moon?
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
urge and that desire to learn more
Yeah.
is curiosity. And it's
Do you think you were that way when you were?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was very much so, especially when it came to music and the arts, like, especially with music, I was always wanting to listen to different genres or, learn more about these different artists. Growing up, I listened to a lot of older music. Like my family
Hmm.
was big on like funk, R&B, Motown eras. And so I
Hmm.
listened to a lot of like the Jacksons. And there was
Hmm.
one point growing up where I would just be like, oh, let me search for more music about the Jacksons, learn more about their history. They had the TV movie. I've watched that more times than I can count.
Yeah.
Just wanted to learn more about them. And so curiosity for music and the arts and this means of expression has always been something I've been more and more just like allowing myself to be more in tune with, allowing myself to be more curious about, even as
Hmm.
an adult. Hmm.
Okay. All right. So yeah, because that jumps off the page when you introduce the little boy
Hmm.
and give that drummer some. So I was like, oh, okay, I like that she chose that way of describing.
Absolutely.
You also use the term soulful heart.
Hmm.
So what guided your choice of these words to refer to the child?
Mhm. Um, Soulful heart. I think soul, when I think about soul, of course, we think about like the internal kind of compass that we have. But
Mm-hmm.
also it's a play on the fact that music for Black people and for our, for our community is very, very much so rooted in this idea of soul. This idea that music kind of transcends certain realms. Um,
Absolutely.
so I think that's where that really was rooted in, just having those kind of two different ways to look at soul, and
Mm-hmm.
how it's just very much so something that guides us and keeps
Yeah.
us close to our values, morals, and things we believe in too.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's beautiful.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So, there's so much here. It's a short book, but it's a lot packed in there.
It's a
All right.
lot in the book.
All right. So you also did the a little bit of music education in the
Yes,
book, because as I was flipping through and reading, I saw that you included the different types of drums that
absolutely.
comprise a drum set, and you labeled your illustrator.
Mhm.
Had your illustrator label each of the drums. So, what motivated your decision to teach the names of the different drums to the kids?
That's another, you just coming with the good questions. Um I've come from a background of educators in
Uh-huh.
general, like family
Yeah.
members, even friends who are in the education system or education field, and I know
Mm-hmm.
how important it is to, give things a name, and provide language for kids so that they're able to describe certain things, or really speak about maybe something that they're interested in. And so, if
Mm-hmm.
this book inspires a child to look into, wanting to be a musician or wanting to be a drummer, I think
Mm-hmm.
it's a great introduction to, what a drum kit can possibly look like if they're interested in moving forward and becoming a musician or becoming a drummer specifically. So they can
Mm-hmm.
speak to, the snare sounds like this. Or instead of saying,
Mm-hmm.
well, this drum that looks like a circle and it kind of can sit low to the ground, it sounds like
Uh-huh.
this. But they can start to build language around parts as it relates to musical instruments and music in general. This can help build their music language. And I think of music as that's a language in
Mm-hmm.
itself. So
Absolutely.
really being able to build on that. Mhm.
Okay. You know what? Hearing you say that, it made me wonder, have you, as the author, had an
Mhm.
opportunity to witness the book being read to kids, or have you read the book yourself to a group of kids with a live
Absolutely.
audience?
Yes.
Okay.
So
What?
Oof, that's a good it's a very interesting experience because, of course, you're dealing with kids, and so they have
Yes.
their little reactions and everything. But I read the a larger group of kids the book, in May,
Mm-hmm.
and at the same time, my dad was also there with his drum kit and his drum set, so playing it
Oh,
while the book was being read, and so I think that speaks to something totally different. So when you're
oh,
reading the
wow.
book
I bet that
and
was nice.
it was really, really cool, and you could see the kids' eyes get big. Some of them were, like, patting their, like, laps while he was playing. That we did take time to answer any questions, like, if
Mm-hmm.
kids had a question about the parts of the drums after my dad kind of explained the parts of the drums, we allowed the kids to come up and ask those questions, because it was a lot of just curious little people. There was even a little guy who literally probably is like just small character, small little person.
Mm-hmm.
He just already knew so much about the drum, but it was just blowing his mind that he was seeing it being
The
played, and he was
excitement.
right, and it was so close proximity to him, because even after we did that, kids got a chance to come up to the drum, play a little bit, like, with their hands, just like tapping parts of it. And
Uh-huh.
also my dad was there to kind of help with, you know, this is that afterwards. So it was really cool to watch the kids kind of be like, in awe of all of the things happening at the same time, while also getting that story kind of laced throughout it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're also speaking to, I think, earlier this year, I just happened to stumble across
Mhm.
an article that was talking about the cognitive benefits
Mhm.
of active musical training on the
Mm.
minds of preschool children. So when you start talking about the little kid, just now,
Yes,
like seeing it in person and having your dad explain it to him, I guess that's what was going on. He was just like
absolutely.
mind blown, like you said.
Mind blown.
Yes. So this is a good segue. So I learned that your book was actually inspired by your dad, who is a percussionist. Um, and he's the inspiration for Give That
Mhm.
Drummer Some, correct? All right. So, what's one of your favorite musical memories related to your dad from your childhood? And how did he engage you as a kid with music during your formative years?
That's a good question. My earliest memories with my dad as a musician is literally him being in our house playing the drums. Our
Okay.
house was never quiet, ever growing up, because he was
Uh-huh.
always like practicing. But while he was practicing, we like dance in the living room while he was playing. And it's a picture in the book similar to kind of what we grew up doing. He'd
Okay.
be playing and
Uh-huh.
we would be dancing. And sometimes even when we pause, he'd stop the drums and we just kind of freeze. And then
Oh.
he'd get back to it and he'd start playing again. We'd start back dancing again. And every time we stopped,
Uh-huh.
he would stop. So those are some of my fondest memories of him being a percussionist. And even
Hmm.
just, and that's beyond like him performing in different spaces, but just having the ability to be in close proximity to him as my dad, to see that has been great. Even like sitting down and listening to records with him. So all of
Okay.
the records that my grandfather had, my dad now has. So he has like probably hundreds of records. And
Oh, wow.
sometimes he would sit down and listen to the records and we would sit down with them and he have it on sky high, the volume on sky high, but
Uh-huh.
you could hear it throughout the house, but sometimes you just kind of sitting there and he'd be listening and we sitting there too and just listen to and just chill.
Wow.
We would go to stuff often. He was a part of and still is a part of a group in Charlotte that plays pretty often in the city. And
Okay.
so we would go to those performances. He would drum at church. So when we go to church, he'd be the drummer there. And even like one-off situations he'd play at, and we would be there when they have festival in the park in Charlotte is very big. um,
Mhm.
and growing up he would be doing festival in the park with the group doing some jazz in the park, and sometimes even my mom would join in because there was a reggae group. He was in a
Oh,
reggae
wow.
band. So my mom would sing and he would play, and so we would go to that growing up as well too. So it's always been the performing, seeing that in real time has it, we're my sister and I are not new to that. We've seen it time and time again. So it's always
Yeah.
been very adventurous.
Okay.
Yes.
So I had you state your illustrator's name, and I
Yes.
have to ask you to say your dad's name. Come on.
Yes.
Give the
My
drummer
dad,
some.
give that drummer some, right, give the drummer some. My dad's name is, Tommy Green.
Tommy
Tommy
Green.
Green,
All
yeah,
right. All right. So, well, he did such a wonderful job of inspiring you because the book is it's just I don't know. I felt myself smiling, when
yeah.
I was reading it. It's very nice. I'm so proud of you. So, okay, so you also have, I believe this is at the beginning, you have a quote where you say the heartbeat of a musical group is the percussionist.
Mhm.
So, could you say more about why you wanted to open it with that particular?
That is yes. So, that could be debatable if you talk to certain people, but for
I am
me,
sure. But
for me,
you're the author.
I'm not right, this is my narrative, right? This is how I'm
That's
doing
right.
it.
That's right.
But I guess for me, when I think about the drums and how literally they keep time, they manage the pace of a song. And when it's too fast, of course, the song will speed up. If it's too slow, the song will
Hmm.
slow down. So the drummer can carry, or the percussionist, or whoever's in that area, or, playing one of those things literally kind of keeps on going. And I think about
Hmm.
like our own personal heartbeats. Our heartbeats keep things going, allows us to pump blood to certain areas and do different things like that. So it's keeping us alive. Knowing that our
Hmm.
heartbeat is moving is a reminder that things are in working order. So as far as we can tell, things are in working order, you know?
Uh-huh.
And so I think that the drummer or the percussionist in a musical group has that same kind of ability as well. So
Yeah.
that's why I did that quote.
And what we were talking about earlier, when I was pointing out the fact that you started off referring to the little boy, i.e., inspired by your father,
Mhm.
uh, as a curious soul, and you talked about um, the heart.
Mhm.
I think it was appropriate that you started it off with that
Mhm.
quote that the percussionist is the heartbeat of the
Mhm.
musical group, right? It's like a nice way to tie
Tie
it
it
all
in.
in.
Mhm.
And then in relationship to like the whole Africana psychology,
Mhm.
um, if someone is just curious enough to even just go Google the significance, the cultural and spiritual
Mhm. Mhm.
significance of the drum, right?
Absolutely.
Um, to the people, to the village, then I think that it makes sense the way you started it off talking about that. And so the kids who got a chance to engage with the percussions, with the drums,
Mhm.
um, you all let them just kind of improvise on it when you
Yeah.
did that, or okay.
Yeah. We just kinda let them feel it out, and, create whether rhythms they want, or some kids are so small, they were just hitting. Cymbal is really loud, but they just kept going and going.
Yeah, as
But
long as they could
yeah,
engage with it.
exactly. So
Yeah,
that even right there is speaking to just like motor skills, and it's so many things that kinda can be, you know,
yeah.
placed into the importance of this book. And I am glad that you did bring up the piece about just our culture, like for my culture, our culture, how important drumming was
Hmm.
for our ancestors in terms of just even telling stories, um,
Absolutely.
creating community, um, making sure people knew this was a moment to gather. So
Hmm.
there's so much significance in drumming, and just just so many things that could be pulled from this book. So many themes and things can be pulled from the book.
Absolutely. I highly recommend it. So, I want to know
Mhm.
when you were an undergrad.
Right.
I
Ooh,
know
child.
we
Ooh,
got to go back. We got to go
gotta
back.
go back, back.
Okay. Were you planning then that you were going to do a children's book? No?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
how did it I know your father was the inspiration, just
Yeah.
being, such an influence. But how did you, because my question now is kind of like, what advice do you have for other creatives with psychology background? And
Mm,
do you feel are you combining the two now, or are
yeah.
you focusing more on your creative endeavors?
I feel like with the work that I do in my
Hmm.
actual job, like being a community
Hmm.
engagement manager
Hmm.
and being an author now, um, all of those things are closely tied to my psychology background. understanding behavior and thought processes,
Mhm.
are all a part of the creative process to me. So I can make
Mhm.
sure I put forth the best programming or
Mhm.
the best book possible. I have to keep I have to
Uh-huh.
keep, certain folks top of mind. Like, how do I want to reach those audiences?
Mhm.
What are some of the things that I know behaviorally will attract children, like in terms of just like the colors or understanding, around motor skills and those
Mhm.
behaviors. Even
Mhm.
like cognitive development as it relates to them really understanding the content of the book is important.
Mhm.
But that all lends itself to my psychology background.
Yeah.
Even when I
Yeah.
think about, like I said, the programming I have to put in place, as a community engagement manager, there is a creative element to it, but there's also really looking at patterns in terms of behavior with attendees even coming to events. What does
Oh
that
yeah.
demographic look like?
Mhm.
What has been those patterns for them as it relates to even stewarding that into other types of ways that could benefit a nonprofit? It's a
Mhm.
lot of psychology that's underlying so much of the work that I do. So a lot of the different things that I learned in undergrad and grad school have helped in my way of processing and creating different opportunities for people, whether it's through a book or it's through community programming. So, yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely. All right. So the what's are you going to be doing another one, or is it too soon? Maybe I shouldn't.
It
Should I?
I I
Should
have
I ask?
no clue. It's a good
Really?
question. Um,
I
I always
mean,
like
I don't want to
do
put you on the spot, but
it's
I know like typically that's the
it's
next
no
thought
question.
you might have.
Absolutely,
Like, yeah,
absolutely.
uh-huh.
I,
Okay.
I pray that I do have another book. I'm just kinda going based on if God drops another book in my heart and my spirit, and I guess I'll jot it up. I'll write it down for now. I'm enjoying the light that's coming from, Give That Drummer Some, and I really do hope to write another book soon. Just don't know what it is yet.
Okay. And let me say this. I don't think that you have to know, or
Wow.
yeah, because it will come when it comes.
It comes when it comes.
And if it doesn't, you will be on to probably thinking and focusing your energies someplace else where it's needed in the universe, right?
That's
That's
good. That's
that's how,
really
yeah,
good.
yeah. I mean,
I like
that's
that.
how, yeah, because it's not. I don't think like the creativity should come with pressure
Absolutely.
ever.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, for sure. All right, so here we go.
Okay.
Now you have at in your signature line of your
Mhm.
email. And I want you to share because you told me nobody else has ever said anything about
Thank
it
you.
before me. So I'm like, how could they not? Okay, Jamila A. Green's signature line of her email says, everybody's got a little light under the sun, Parliament Funkadelic. Come on, Jamila. Come on, give it to us. Why did you, I was
Good.
so happy to see it. I was like,
That's
ooh.
I know, I know, I know. That I don't think people understand how important that line is when it comes to really recognizing, um, all people for all that they are, and understanding that wherever you are, everybody has a light inside of them. As long as the sun does shine, wherever you are in your life journey, everybody should feel important and should be seen. Everybody's got a little light under the sun, under the sun, under the sun,
Under the
under the
sun, under the
sun.
sun.
So that's just a reminder to anybody who reads it is that they're seen, they're loved, and they are important. They indeed have a light internally, but there's also a light on them. So that's why that line is important to me.
Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
and
I
it's
love it.
Parliament. So you gotta
I
love
love it. And I feel like now, just by the fact that we paused to say that
it.
at this
Mhm.
time, to for you to respond to that,
Yeah.
nobody will miss it ever again when they see your
They better
emails.
not. Nope. I done broke it down, see? Podcast
Yeah.
live forever.
That's right. That's right. And so I really am so happy for the book.
Thank
I'm
you.
happy for your creative spirit.
Mhm.
And I know that I'll be following and just paying attention to see what Jamila chooses to do in her life next. And
Same
so
here.
do you,
I'm curious too.
yes. So it's great to see you again.
It's great to see you too, and I appreciate you, Dr. Lewis. You've always been just an amazing just professor in general, but I think you're just an amazing person in general. You're
Oh,
always been
thank
very
you.
down to earth, keep it
Thank you.
real, and I we
Uh,
me and you, Maria, shout out to you, Maria.
Shout
We have
out to you, you
just
Maria.
yes, you, Maria. We have always appreciated who you are and just like all the things and just how cool you always just been the cool professor, the cool teacher. Always loved it.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. Yes. And so, well, we are going to sign off here, and I will talk to you soon.
All right.
And good luck with everything with the book.
Thank you so much. Thank you again
All
for
right.
having me.
Like and subscribe to support this content.